It's the fourth leg of our titanic tussle in a 1969 Morris Minor between road trip new recruit Christina Trevanion and gangly grandmaster Charles Hanson.
Have you ever won a road trip before?
I've only ever lost one, darling.
Oh, really?
I
never knew that.
I've played 6, lost 1.
Crikey, Christina, I bet you wished you hadn't asked. Still, our auctioneer and Shropshire lass is giving as good as she gets.
And the contents?
Oh, no.
Charles from Derbyshire might be prone to the odd spill.
How much is it?
It's £25.
Just throw it out.
Sorry about that.
But when it comes to bargains, her fellow gavel wielder has a very keen eye, and after suffering an early setback, he stormed into the lead.
£170.
It has a nice ring to it.
Charles began with £200, and after 3 trips to auction, he's increased that to an entirely laudable £543.80p. Christina also started out with £200, and so far she's acquired a respectable £271.94p. But a long way behind.
I think you've got to play dangerous. I think you've got to...
I'm either going to lose it all
Yeah.
or lose it all.
Chin up, Christina. Our experts embarked from Whaley Bridge in Derbyshire before weaving over 600 miles through the north of England to conclude at Cobridge in the Potteries. Today they'll kick off in Leeds, Yorkshire, before heading north to a thrilling auction at Penrith in Cumbria. But to start, Charles has brought his opponent to the scene of one of the greatest sporting comebacks of all time, Headingley Cricket Ground.
This is phenomenal.
Just look at this, Christina.
Wow-wee.
This is any English gentleman's paradise.
Is it?
Yeah. When you look at that wicket, look at
Yes.
that green.
Yes.
What are your tactics if you're talking sport and cricket?
If I'm well, I'm not really a cricket fan, I have to be honest,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
I'm going to have to be quite clever because you're way out ahead of me.
Get out of here.
You are.
If you're on the ground, it's 4 runs. If you go over me, it's 6.
Right.
Okay?
Okay.
So go for a 6.
I will. I am going to go for a 6. Can you do a 12?
No.
That didn't go well. Good job we're only talking about cricket rather than actually playing it.
Madam,
Thank you very much.
your driver will depart.
See you later.
Go for it.
Bye.
But when it comes to the great crease of life, I'm sure Christina will be straight onto the front foot.
Hello.
Hello.
I'm Christina.
Hi, Pete.
Pete, nice to meet you, Pete.
meet you, Christina.
This looks very exciting.
Lots of furniture, I see. What besides?
There's a bit more down there.
Show me round, Pete. Show me your empire.
Bit more furniture.
Bit more furniture in here.
This could be quite a task.
I've only got £271 to spend. I need to come up with something really golden.
Oh, lordy.
Oh, look. Somebody's bear.
Well, he used to be golden. Quite some time ago, though.
And certainly well loved. He's got very much replaced pads and paws all over the place, which bear collectors are not going to like.
The search goes on. It's amazing what you can come up with.
Whoa, there's a big spider in there. Oh, I don't like spiders.
Maybe it's time to consult Pete.
There's this dressing table thing.
It's got this sort of tambour
Yes, the little timbre.
top, something. Oh, ow! It was vicious.
Well, I don't think we're seeing it at its best.
So what's that sort of money?
45.
45 quid.
Big lump.
That's what concerns me. It's a big bit of furniture. Not many people could accommodate it in their homes, but there's something about it that I just quite like.
And what would that be, Christina?
20 quid?
35.
Come on, Pete.
30.
Oh, go on, 20. It gives me a fighting
25,
chance.
and that's...
It gives me a fighting chance at 20 quid.
Okay, 20.
20 quid.
It's done.
Yeah?
Okay, yeah.
Pete, you're a legend. Thank you. It's either going to be brilliant or it's going to bomb spectacularly, and I think it's probably going to be the latter.
Possibly. But isn't it staggering that you can pick up a substantial piece of furniture for just £20, eh? Now, here's Charles, padded up and ready for his first delivery.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
How are you?
Fine.
I'm Charles Hanson.
I'm John.
Good to see you,
Welcome
John.
to our emporium.
Now, something tells me there'll be no boundaries at Swiss Cottage either. But in this game, it's all about responding to whatever life delivers.
Is there anything here, John, that's quite quirky, that's quite different, that's quite radical?
Bull's head, if you want quirky.
Golly. It's an old one, isn't it, the bull's head?
Yes.
Yeah. Tell me where it came from.
A butcher's. One of the old-style butchers.
This bull's head, I would have thought would date to, what, 1910?
Yes,
1920,
yeah.
It's Edwardian, it's George V, that typical shield back.
Yes.
He's very Edwardian. He's a bit tired, isn't he? He's been a bit moth-eaten. But it's got a big price, hasn't it? £3.50.
Well, it's a big price, yes.
Yeah. What's the very best, John, if our horns were lopped at £3.50?
300 would come down.
Look at me.
300 would come
£300.
down.
That's the very best, is it?
Yes.
This bull's head could rear its ugly face and make £500, but he could happily make £100.
Yes.
And I just would be taking, I think, too much of a gamble.
Yes.
At £300, I'll leave it.
Never mind, there's plenty more wildlife to be spotted around here.
And they're nice up there. These red leaping deer capture the Art Deco, and that's really nice. This is a vase that goes with it, and there we are. They're made by Crown Devon, and Crown Devon were a really forward-thinking Art Deco manufacturer. They've all been priced individually. It's just a lovely ensemble, and probably a bit out of my price range. £175, and actually I would want the whole lot going together as one bundle of Art Deco joy. Hi, John.
Hiya.
What would be your best price for the famous 5?
110.
110. The only concern is if it's a general sale and it's a real bricky-bracky affair,
It's who's there?
they might get lost. I'm going to think about it. £110 is a really good offer. I need to be really sure about it.
Hang on, he's off. Charles is having his usual trouble, though, getting started, it seems. Christina, meanwhile, has left town with Morris. Motoring from Leeds over to Shipley and the historic Victorian village of Saltire.
How pretty that is, look.
She's not here for the World Heritage Site, though.
Hello. Hi. Are you Malcolm?
I am, yes.
Hi, Malcolm.
Nice to
I'm
meet you.
Christina. Very nice to
Yes,
meet you.
nice to see you.
This is amazing.
Oh, yes. It's
I
a treasure
just-
trove.
Malcolm's establishment on the 3rd floor of an old textile mill has a bit of everything. Not that that always helps.
Mr. Bond, I've been expecting you.
Boggled and perhaps a trifle regretful about that dressing table, she's called the auctioneer.
What about furniture?
Ouch.
Right, okay. Okay.
Well, no more furniture then, certainly.
I love that. Look at that. How cool is that? Scarecrow Deco aeroplane crit. That's awesome.
Practical, too.
You're looking at this?
Yes, please. I just think it's quite fun. I mean, I think it's terrible. It's obviously in very bad condition and not worth that at all.
Oh, that ploy.
So the ticket price is £68.
Right. I'll have to ring him, but I can normally work up to 10%.
So that's £6.80.
But
That's about 60 quid-ish, isn't
Well,
it?
I'd say 60 quid. But I can also ring and see if we'll squeeze a bit more out.
That would be amazing,
all right.
especially as a lot of the chrome is peeling on
but it's
there.
an unusual thing, isn't it?
No.
Oh,
See him every day.
Oh, dear. Oh, right. Get me another one, then. Right, I'll go ask then. I'll come back.
Obviously, you would want it in good condition. When you're buying something, you want it in as best condition as you can get. So to have that bubbling slightly would detract from the value.
Yeah, it's a bit mottled.
I mean, I think it looks very Art Deco. It's also got a registered number on the back there, which is a good sign. But it's just a bit of fun, isn't it? He's back.
Can't get hold of him.
Oh.
So,
Oh.
I'll do it at
Yes?
56.
56. That's your absolute maximum.
It is, because what I'm doing is taking my commission off.
I'm asking for blood, aren't I?
You are. and I can't give you it. You're asking
Is
more
there
than...
any leverage on about 50 quid?
I'm prepared to let it go at 50, but that's the best I can do.
Okay, so 50 quid. I like it.
Why not have it? What am I whispering for?
I don't know. Oh, go on then, 50 quid.
All right.
Brilliant.
Lovely.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Let's go for it.
But while Christina's been busy making her first buy, Charles has headed for the centre of Leeds, where, down on the waterfront, further along the River Aire, is a museum dedicated to arms and armour.
And you must be
I'm Karen.
Karen, Charles Hanson.
Lovely to meet you, Charles. Welcome to the Armoury.
This impressive building displays the National Collection. It all started out in the Tower of London, but the huge space here can display over 8,500 objects, and Charles is in for a behind-the-scenes treat.
What was this armour serving a purpose? Was it protection?
Combination of saving your life and at the same time looking good.
Is this okay for you? In a more contemporary way, you know?
Yes, and he's got form too, having snapped up a suit earlier this trip. The museum has items like this lobster tail helmet from the Civil War, but Charles is here to see the much fancier tournament sort. These were the jousts that began in the Middle Ages and soon became a highly dangerous spectator sport. Henry VIII was very keen, but so were other European monarchs.
This one here is one of the jewels of our collection. This armour here has got a breastplate, a backplate, a neckplate, and full articulating arm defences. You can see how you can move.
Yeah. What age is this?
Precisely, and you don't often get a chance to say
Yeah,
that,
yeah.
1591.
It's not. It's not.
Sophia, Electress of Saxony, wants to give her husband Christian the best Christmas present ever, and she orders him a suite of 12 of these. It was a way of showing yourself. I actually think that's why Henry VIII was so well known as a physical presence, was because he showed himself at tournaments.
King Henry became so enthusiastic about jousting that he hired German craftsmen to create his own armoury in Greenwich, making plate of increasing thickness.
But I feel fairly underdressed. I feel quite open to damage.
You need some extra bits. This is to protect your face, because this is the most vulnerable area. This is the area you're going to be hit.
I'm jousting in what year in this?
You're jousting in about the 1580s, 90s.
In England?
In England.
This is an English-made jousting outfit. I just
English-made jousting.
feel very humble to wear this.
And for Sirs Tootsies,
These are the steel feet of Henry VIII,
Worn by Henry VIII.
worn by Henry VIII.
I can't believe it.
I'll flex it.
It's just amazing. So essentially, Karen, they were worn like that, were they?
Yeah, absolutely.
So I'm actually walking,
You're walking in Henry VIII's footsteps.
and that's just incredible.
but these shoes are by no means the only items of armour that once belonged to Henry here. There's a complete suit, for example, made for the young king at a very famous joust.
Well, here we are in the tournament gallery, and I'm going to show you an armour for Henry VIII, made for him when he was a young man, still in his 20s. It was made for him to wear at the Field of Cloth of Gold tournament.
Gosh.
A magnificent tournament that was held between himself and King Francis I of France in 1520. It became the byword for luxury and extravagance.
He is almost invincible. He was Henry VIII. He was invincible. I'm thinking, how can I prod him? Where can I take a hit?
You're never going to get into this armour, I can tell you. Every single plate locks into every other. It does, however, weigh 94 pounds, so it's very heavy.
If I've got to be Christina's knight in shining armour and seeing Henry VIII, King Henry from 1520, what are your tips to me?
I think you've got everything it needs, because I can see you've got a chivalrous nature.
I think Karen's got a bit of a soft spot for our Charles. But I've heard that the knights of old did sing a fair bit.
Can you yodel?
No,
This landscape does inspire you, doesn't it, sing?
it does.
The hills are alive.
With the sound of music.
Sorry. Songs I shall sing
La da da da
for
da.
1,000 years.
La da da da.
Anyone would think this wasn't a road trip competition at all. Nighty-night, you two. Next morning, Christina learns the truth about Charles.
So, did you buy anything yesterday?
No comment.
Are you not allowed to tell me
I can't tell you.
Surely you can tell
Because
me whether you bought something.
if I tell you and you know the truth, I will then put more pressure. So that's a clue.
So you haven't?
Maybe not.
Yes. After not spending a penny in Yorkshire so far, Charles still has an awful lot of cash left. £543.80p, to be precise.
I'm going mad, but I quite like it.
Whilst Christina has so far bought a 1960s dressing table and a salt and pepper set for £70, leaving her with £201.94p at her disposal.
It's either going to be brilliant or it's going to bomb spectacularly.
Later, they're making for the auction in Penrith, but our next stop is Skipton. This historic market town is famous for its castle and mills, although it's a lesser-known fact that Skipton was also the site of prisoner-of-war camps during both World Wars. Nowadays, one of those is a caravan park.
What is parking space in?
Wash House Antiques. It's tiny. It's tiny.
But look, it looks packed to the rafters with stuff.
They say small is beautiful, don't they?
Exactly.
So what we can do, we can go with a hop, a skip
turn.
and a jump. See you later.
Now, Charles, Skipton has little to do with skipping.
Good morning.
Good morning,
How
Charles.
are you?
Fine, thank you.
Wonderful shop you have.
Thank you.
I'm Charles, and you're a lady in tweed.
Samantha.
Hi, Samantha.
Hello.
Good to see you. Are you a Yorkshire lady?
I am, yes.
Fine.
I think the tweed has definitely put him in the mood. Plus, of course, the contents of Samantha's fine little shop.
It's a nice gavel, isn't it?
Yes.
As an auctioneer, you always want to sell objects with a gavel that's tactile. And this is light, has a lovely feel, and it's probably, what, 1920s?
Right.
Nice gavel, isn't it? I have to think about
So that would do the job.
It could be going, gone, if the price is right. It's a nice box as well, isn't it?
I think that's a really beautiful box. It has got a little issue in that it's missing a little bit of the foot there.
I love this box because the detail is so good. And furthermore, it has a lovely feel, has a nice mellow colour, and it's just a pretty box. Circa 1880. How much is that?
Have I not put a price
No
on
price.
it? Oh.
Is it a freebie? Is it a freebie?
Well, not-
Samantha, it could be very cheap.
Not quite
No.
free, Charles, but
No.
it could be very reasonable. If I were to say £15.
£15. Food for thought.
He's giving the shop a thorough examination.
In the corner over there is a really nice oil lamp, the one with the, is it the ram's horn?
Right. It's actually a
made
Victorian
up.
put together, and it's actually an electric lamp now.
Oh, is it? Obviously, for the purpose of auction, we would have to have it pat tested.
Yes.
To check the lecky is in order for public sale and use. I just think somebody might enjoy it for what it is. It's a bit of a drama queen, by appearance. What would it cost me to buy?
If I were to say 35,
What I might do is come back to you with an offer, maybe 2, 3 or even 4 items.
right.
Is that okay
That's
with you?
fine. Yeah, we'll see what I can
Thanks,
do.
Samantha. You could be my great redeemer.
Come on, Charles, let's see the colour of your cash. Now, what about your travelling companion?
My name's Christina.
And June.
June, nice to meet you, June. Hi, nice to meet you. And you are?
Melanie.
Melanie, and you're my ladies for today.
We are, yes.
Brilliant.
Well, it's nice to have plenty of help.
Brilliant. So the building's phenomenal, isn't it? The old foundry.
Yeah.
Quite a place, too.
Oh gosh, we're going up again.
Yeah, it's like a
Right,
mezzanine.
okay.
Yeah.
Lots of choice, but with very few dealers around, so she'll need all the advice that Melanie and June can supply.
I have dealings with this dealer. I know exactly what she'll do in here.
Okay, brilliant. Okay, that's great.
Oh, now, that could be handy.
Well, I think we might go for a bit of a group lot. Nice picture frame. That's quite nice, isn't it?
Yeah.
So London 1984.
£55 on that.
That's quite nice, isn't it? Yeah, that's nice faceted glass there. We've got DNF, which is Deacon and Francis, and then Birmingham, and we've got 1919 on that.
Yeah.
The toilet jar is £50.
What about the scent bottle?
That's rather nice.
This is fast work.
That's got a nice star cut base, which you would expect of a slightly better quality piece. But it stands nicely, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does.
The scent bottle is £35.
If we were to hypothetically say this group, what do you think on that?
We'll say 90 quid.
I'm thinking more probably along the region of maybe £70 for the group.
I'll go to 80. 80 is my best offer.
80.
Yeah.
I will go for that at 80 because I think that's very fair. That's
Yeah.
very fair of you. Thank you very much. Grand. Thank you.
Speedy. Now, the last time we saw Charles, he had quite a heap of stuff, too. Any news?
The last item I'm going to sort of remark upon are the two birds. Tell me about them.
I've had this some time, but I seem to recollect when I bought it that the lady said it was a Russian one.
Duh.
It's quite sweet,
Whether
isn't it?
it is. Now, this one, I'm sure is a modern one. That one, I think, has some age.
Yeah, this is quite a quirky toy, but who knows? He might just fly away at auction.
There doesn't seem to be a key for the clockwork.
Hello. What's your name?
Though fortunately, Charles can supply all the energy required.
What the worth? A fiver? A fiver?
Silly boy. Now, any danger of a deal?
If I bought our 4 items, could you work a price out for me?
Looking at the individual prices, it would be totting up to £90.
Right.
I could trim it down to 50.
I would love to really buy the group for about £40. The big oil lamp will be £20. The gavel and the box, 15. And then the two birds will be £5.
Well, it's not something I would usually do, but in this case, I think we can end it at that then.
Are you sure?
Yes.
Can I raise my gavel?
Yes.
Going.
Gone.
Sold. £40. Thank you very much. Just as I go and say au revoir,
Aye, aye.
that bookcase over there, Globe Vernica, early 20th century, it appears to be in good condition.
It is in good condition.
Could it be a goer?
Hang on, this is turning into quite an outing.
I think it's a real popular item. I think it's one of those pieces of furniture that's really in at the moment.
Globe Vernica, founded in the USA during the late 19th century, patented the expanding bookcase, whereby units of different depths and heights could be fitted together. They're now highly collectible.
What's the rock bottom price?
I think for that, I would have to stick with £100.
£100.
The very, very best I could do would be 95. I definitely couldn't move below that.
I think at £95 I shall say, I'll take it. Thank you very much. I'm going to take it. £95. I'm over the moon.
That is impressive, Charles. So, after yesterday's drought, now the flood. Back at the Antique Centre, Christina's finally got hold of a dealer.
What about some photographs from the beaching era?
A railway photograph?
Yeah, they came out of a clearance I did from an ex-train driver.
Right.
So there were all his snaps just after beaching, which was the time when a lot of the railway stations had disappeared. So there's a good little bit of history from the mid-60s. And then lots of disused stations, some of them with actually some of them with the track taken up as well, so a bit later. But all the lovely old signal boxes and things like that, and quite a few stations.
Gosh.
Yeah.
I mean, it is a very specialist market, though, isn't it?
It
But
is,
if you
but
found that right market.
Yeah.
So what have you got on these, Seb?
Well, asking sort of 38 for the whole lot.
I'm just concerned that they could be the kind of thing that makes a couple of quid at auction, or they could make quite a lot of money.
Yeah.
I would be happy to get these in the sort of £15, £20 region.
I think maybe sort of like 35, maybe 30 would be the best, really.
I think they're fascinating, but I don't know how many other people will think they're fascinating.
Yeah, there's lots of chaps love this sort of stuff. You'll be fine, honestly.
Seb's got a point, Christina.
Give me 26 quid and we have a deal.
Should we go 25?
Yeah, let's go 25 then.
Yeah?
Okay.
Okay,
Well done.
25.
Thank you.
Thank you. I think those are quite interesting.
Yeah, they're good fun.
Completely not what I would usually buy, but maybe that's where I've been going wrong.
Yes.
These do seem to be a bit of a bargain. Remember, she's still got about £100 left. Now, anything else?
What's those prints over there? Those are very Art
Fashion
Deco.
prints,
Well,
yeah.
it's 1940s. They're
it's,
rather lovely, aren't they?
Yeah, original frames as well.
Original parcel tape?
Yeah, absolutely, yeah.
I think they've got a lot of style. There's sort of slightly demure colours, but that's what ladies were going for, slightly higher hemlines. I mean, this Art Deco look is very, very trendy at the moment, but this price, we've got £18 on the two or each.
each at the moment.
What about... You're gonna hate me.
How much am I going to hate you?
Quite a lot. What about £15 a pair?
The pair?
Yeah.
15's too low.
Okay. What's your absolute minimum?
I'm thinking sort of 24 for the pair.
24 for the pair.
That's the pair. And the frames, of course, as well as the prints.
Well, I would hope that you'd throw the frames in as well. What about £20 a pair?
I'm going to let you have them for 20, OK?
OK, you've got a deal. Seb,
OK, well
you're a
done.
star. Thank you.
Thank
£20.
you. Lovely.
Well done, Skipton. Quite a haul for them both. It explains the very good mood in the Morris, I presume. They're now motoring south and west across the Lancashire border from Skipton to Burnley. Just.
It's almost like being in a Flintstone car. Who is a lady on the Flintstones who had ginger hair? Is it Alma?
Wilma! Actually, Charles.
Should we just open the footwells and I'll pedal? Okay, I'll pedal.
Burnley, of course, bears little resemblance to the town of Bedrock, certainly since it sped into the industrial age during the 18th and 19th centuries, becoming one of the world's largest manufacturers of cotton cloth. Looks like this establishment works on a fairly industrial scale too. Off you go then, Charles. Good luck. He's still got an awful lot of cash to spend at Carlin Antiques. So what will take his fancy, eh? Retro pottery?
Come over here, Sharon. This is quite nice. See, look at that for design. I mean, that for me, is it midwinter?
It is.
It is midwinter.
And it's cheap.
Is it cheap? Is it? Oh, Sharon, you're talking my language, Sharon. So are these little soup bowls or?
Soup bowls, I would
We'll
say.
put those up there.
What would you say? See, they look quite sweet, don't
Yeah, they do look sweet.
They are lovely.
I think, is it 50s or 60s? I think probably more like 60s, but it doesn't matter, you know, if you're a swinger
yes.
and you like the 60s, that's
Yeah.
fine, isn't it? So if I said to you, what's the very best on that little ensemble, what would you tell me?
Only because it's you and I know you need to make
Sharon,
money.
I'm in need, Sharon.
We're talking £10.
Oh my God, Sharon, you can do that to me, Sharon. I like a little doll
Right.
here, that's quite nice.
Dream baby, that one is. Yeah, I used to
How
make
much
that,
could she
but I
be?
didn't make that one. What is she on for? 22? £12.
She can't help herself. He'll find it difficult to spend much here.
What about this hat, sweetheart? Now, this is very 60s.
It is, isn't it?
It is, isn't
Yeah.
it? The right lady. It's very Audrey Hepburn.
Isn't that
Do you not
lovely?
think?
Can you put it on
is
for
rather
me? Because I can't model it.
I just don't think I'll do it justice.
Oh, I say, no, you do.
Pretty young
No, you
lady.
do, but it's got to go. How much is it?
It's £5.
£5.
Is he buying all of it?
What's the best price on the whole lot?
20 for all the lot. I think that's a real bargain. Can you see the little glass dish there with the bullseye?
Oh, yes, that one there.
Yeah. You can throw that in.
I just can't say no to you. I just can't say no. You know, if that's okay with you, I'm going to say yes.
Yeah, so I'm really happy.
It's the
Let's
same.
shake on it
Are
quickly.
you sure? That's done. Thank you so much. Give us a kiss. Thank you. That's really kind.
So Charles is now done shopping with almost £400 still in his pocket. While blissfully unaware of just how cash-rich her rival is, Christina's still at the wheel. Slipping out of Burnley and down to Cliviger. Now, do you remember the salt and pepper set Christina acquired yesterday? Well, she's about to visit someone who's filled her home with such treasures.
Hello, hi.
Do come in.
I'm Christina.
And I'm Christine.
Oh, there we go. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. It goes on and on and on. Oh my goodness. Oh, Christine, this is phenomenal.
Shake your money maker.
Over the course of 30 years, Christine has acquired 2,830 salt and pepper sets and shows no sign of wanting to shake the habit just yet. But every collection starts with just one.
I was doing an antiques fair in Harrogate with a friend, and there was a stall of Carlton ware, which I love. But the only thing I could afford on the stall was the condiment set.
Oh, is this the first one?
This is the very first
It's the
one.
first one that
Yes,
you bought ever?
Yes.
Tell me how this flourished into
This.
this.
I wasn't looking for something to collect, because I don't think that's what happens. They look for you.
Right.
They find you.
Which is your favourite?
This one.
All the little pigs, they grunt and howl, the cats meow, the dogs bow wow, everybody makes some row down on Jollity Farm.
Salt's been a valuable commodity throughout human history, and pepper is the world's most traded spice. Plus, with just about all of the major potteries having dabbled in cruets, they're naturally attractive to collectors.
Is there anything like the Koh-i-Noor of the salt and pepper world? Is there anything that you would really, really like to find?
Dickens characters.
Salt and peppers?
Oh, they've got to be salt and peppers, yes.
Right.
I managed to keep to that now. Except occasionally I buy a sugar sifter.
Oh. or
it's
teapot.
Similar.
Or a biscuit barrel.
Well, get out in that kitchen and rattle those pots and pans.
The 2,830 and counting salt and pepper sets are themed around Christine's home. The kitchen is home to anything that might conceivably relate to eating and food. Must get in the way of cooking, though. Whilst her office is populated by sports, occupations and travel.
A lot of salt and peppers are souvenirs.
Right.
It's one of the things I really like about them. I like souvenirs. I like to buy something when I've been somewhere.
To take home with you to remind you of that
Yes.
place. So can you remember where you bought everything?
Yes.
You've obviously got an incredible memory.
It's not bad.
That's quite something. Especially when your entire house is salt and peppered.
It's the time of the season.
Even Christine's bathroom has a seasonal theme, with just about every watery variation thoroughly explored.
Shells, of course you'd have shells in the bathroom.
Yes.
And penguins.
Yes.
And boats.
Yes.
And ice creams.
Isn't that one nice?
I love that one.
Yes.
It's brilliant. Very kitsch. Christine, I love your collection. It is fantastically eccentric, and I think it's wonderfully British.
And I think it's about to get a bit bigger.
Are you ready for this?
I am.
Not one.
Oh.
But two. There we go.
Oh, it's...
Antiques Road Trip Salt and Pepper.
Oh, that's fabulous.
Totally unique and
Thank
especially
you.
yours.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Now, let's have a look at what our two have salted away.
It's really very fragile, Hanson, so be really careful.
Oh, that's good.
And
Oh, wow.
Christina,
This
positivity.
I love.
Do you really?
Yeah. Shame about the shade. So we've got a Globe Wernicke bookcase.
Yes.
Okay, like that. What did you pay for that?
What's it worth?
Well, they used to be 100, 150 quid, didn't they?
Yeah. It cost me £95.
Okay.
So it wasn't cheap, and you're spot on, low estimate.
And then you got some china.
Much more than that, Christina.
Yeah, that's my bundle of joy over there. An Oman Marseille Bisquet baby, a hat that I thought would really suit you.
Ooh.
This is 1960s, darling.
Swiss
And the
room.
lady who sold it to me said,
Yeah.
that's just gorgeous.
Oh, I love it.
And that, you know what, you've
That
got
is
style.
special.
Isn't it?
Yeah.
You get the 1960s retro midwinter, and Sharon, the stall holder, also threw me in an ashtray.
Now, follow that, Christina.
Okay, ready? 3, 2, 1, go.
Oh, wow. Oh, my gosh, it's bright. Oh, wow. Oh, do you know, oh, I like.
Seems a lot shinier than when we last saw it. Some spit and polish, perhaps.
It was totally out of vogue,
Yes,
wasn't it?
it was.
And now I think the market is coming for it. It's really, it's
I like it,
20th
yeah.
century antiques. It's for the 21st
I'm
century.
going to do one thing.
Yeah.
Nice. What I also like, and what I was looking for, was something of novelty. I love
And
it.
it's a cruet set.
Oh, I hope it wasn't too cheap.
No, it cost me 50 though.
Is that all?
Which,
That's
well,
cheap.
no, I think that's quite a
No,
lot.
I like it. And over there, you've got a nice collection of...
Of railway photographs.
Nice.
Of sort
If
of
you're that way
beaching
inclined.
type- Well,
Yeah. Do you know, it could be an interesting race.
it'll be very interesting. Good luck.
Yeah, good luck. Can't wait. Good luck. Well done, partner. Well done.
Partner? What did they really think?
Mine were quite cheap. Christina's bought quality, but they've come at expense.
I love the bookcase, love the lamp. I think those are really quirky. Look at the ducks. I have a feeling I'm going to be out for a duck. Again.
She's really gambled hard. She's going for it. And go, girl, come and catch me if you can.
After starting out in Yorkshire at Leeds before heading over to Lancashire, this leg of our trip concludes at an auction in the Cumbrian town of Penrith.
Look at this. It's lovely, isn't it, Christina?
Really sweet.
It's so pretty.
Penrith is blessed with a large number of wells, and the town's good fortune was once marked by pagan-inspired well-dressing ceremonies during May.
I can put you here.
That looks it. Perfect.
There we are. I
Perfect.
could almost roll you out a red carpet on this sunny day.
Yeah, right. Good luck. Oh, thanks.
I see that Charles is still trying to be a good knight. It's Christina's birthday as well, so let's hope that that is a good omen. Welcome to Penrith Farmers and Kids, where at least 10 delightful lots are just waiting to be snapped up. Let's hear what auctioneer Tom Sargent makes of them.
Mixed lot, it is a very strange. You really need somebody to want everything in that lot, but they might see the potential in one of the items, but it is a very varied lot. Hardest lot to sell, probably the dressing table. Normally we can't sell a whole suite of that, so a dressing table on its own could be a struggle.
Christina began with £271.94p, and she spent £195 on 5 auction lots. Whilst Charles started out with £543.80p, and he has just spent £158 also on 5 auction lots. Now, you two, attention please. There's an auction underway. Charles's birds go first.
Russian tin plate, clockwork toy, bird,
One's Russian.
and the clockwork chick. Aye, £10 on commission. £10 the big as me here on commission at 10 bid. At 10 bid, 12, 12, 15, 15 bid, 18, £18, 20, £20 bid. At 20 bid, £20 bid, £20 bid.
Keep going.
At 20 bid, at 20 bid, 20 bid, 2, 5, 25. 25,
Keep
at
going.
25, selling at 25. Pounds. 350.
Well, those certainly grabbed the worm. What will Penrith make of his next very mixed lot, though?
It's absolutely a perfect lot for this market, isn't it? Well, it's a general sale. You want general items. It's perfect. You'll do really well on this.
Look at me.
No, you will.
Doll, the other bits and pieces with that as well.
Oh, it suits you.
Aye, 10 bid, £10 bid. At 10 bid, those are 10 bid, 12, 12 bid, 15, 18, 18, 20, 20 bid, 2, 22 bid. At 22 pounds a lot. At 22, 22 for the mixed lot there at 22. 22, selling at £22. 3085.
Oh, a tiny loss after commission.
Got to ride it.
£15 a bid. At 15 bid.
I'm disappointed. I've fallen off.
Now for his box and gavel. The auctioneer's been casting admiring glances at that one.
I'm £10 bid. 10 bids and me here on commission at 10 bid. At 10, 12, 15, 15 bid. At 15 bid, 18, 20.
Good
£20
lads.
a bid. At £20 a bid.
Go on, you could do it in your gavel.
Keep going.
20 below.
One more.
22 now. At 22, 22, 25, 25. Still with me. 25. 25 and away selling at 25. 5.
That late spurt has got him a profit.
That's a £10 profit.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, I can't grumble.
That is properly in the money, isn't it? That's brilliant.
Now for Charles's curious lamp. £3 dearer thanks to its PAT test.
There we are. 20 bid at 20, £20 bid at 25, 25 bid, at 25, 30,
There's more hands. There's more hands. Come on.
50,
Go on,
bid,
get it.
at 50 bid for that one and 50 the bid, at 50 bid for the 5, 55, 55, 60, 60 bid, at 60 the lot, 60 bid for that one, 60, here's selling now, at 60 pounds.
That's okay.
Well
I'm delighted.
done,
I'm
well
over the
done.
moon.
Remember all the cricket analogies earlier? That's a 4, I'd say. Christina's turn now.
You just need one item to take off, to ignite, to inspire.
So, will her little silver collection be that very lot?
Very speed, like £40 bid. £40 bid for those at 40. £40 a bid and 5. 50, 5, 60, 60 bid at 60. 5, I'm out now. 65,
Keep going.
65. 65 far right now at 65. 65 all done, selling now at 65 pounds. 621.
Oh dear, that's out for a duck, I'd say.
Minus 15.
651.
It's my birthday.
It's my party, and I'll cry if I want to.
Now for her salt and pepper aeroplane.
There we are. I've a 10 bid. £10 bid. £10 bid for that one at 10 for the crew at 10 bid. 10. 10 for the crew at 10 bid. 10. 10 for that one at 10 bid at 12. 12 bid at 12. 12 for the crew at there at 12. 12 for the crew at 12. Selling then at 5.
Oh dear, never mind, Christina. Your fashion plates are up next.
£10 bid. At 10 bid for the fashion, 12, 15, 18, 20, 2 I'm out. 22.
Brilliant.
22 over on the right now, £22 bid. 5, 25, 8, 28, £28 bid. 28 far right, selling at £28. 621.
She'll never catch him up at this rate.
It's a mixed day, isn't it?
Mixed day. Do you know, I would.
It really is a mixed day.
Let's just hope all those railway buffs the dealer talked about have been poring over these.
55 bits. 55 the bits.
Brilliant.
55. Starting at 55, 60, 5, 70, 5, 80, 5, 90, 5, 100, 5, 110, 115, 120, 130, 140,
Oh my
150,
God.
160, 170, 170, 180, 190, 200. At 200 bits.
Your
At
birthday.
200 back out, £200 for bid. At 200 for those and selling at £200.
Great stuff, Christina. The comeback starts here.
Give us a hug. Give us a hug. Fantastic. That's amazing.
Now, this was the not-so-big spending Charles's greatest investment.
5, 50 bid, £50
Keep
bid,
going.
50 for the ball, 5, 60, 60 bid, 5, 70,
It's got to be 100,
5,
isn't it?
80, 5, £85 bid, 90, £90 a bid, at 90 for that one, 90 for
One
the
more.
at £90, 63.
Lost a fiver.
Yep, and even more after commission.
That's life.
You win some, you lose some.
Despite the cheap price, Christina's dressing table looks a lot riskier.
What's it going to make? Really?
Fiver.
Oh, come on.
Fiver.
Why'd you buy it then? Why'd you buy it?
Because it was a punt.
5, £10 bid, 10 for that one at 10 bid, at 10 for the dressing table at 10
That's
bid,
it.
at 10, 10 for that at 10 bid, 10, 10 for the dressing table at 10 bid, at 10, 10 for the dressing table
The
at
mirror's
10,
worth
selling that at £10. Now,
It doubled up expectations. It doubled up, okay.
Someone's got quite a bargain there, but thanks to her photographs, Christina is the victor today.
It's your day, birthday girl. I commend you. Well
Thank
done.
you very much.
Cup of tea?
Yes, cup of tea.
Christina began with £271.94p, and after paying auction costs, she's made a profit of £63.30p, leaving her with £335.24p to spend next time. Charles started out with £543.80p, and after paying auction costs, he's made a profit of £24.04p, leaving him with £567.84p and a lead of almost £250.
I've won 2. You've won 2.
Correct.
You have a little bit more money than I do.
Pass me the keys.
No, I think it's a victory drive for me today. Go on, get in the passenger seat, where you belong.
Next on Antiques Road Trip, nothing escapes the eagle eyes of our Charles.
Known as the Goose Boy.
Why is it the Goose Boy?
Because he's with the goose.
And could Christina's charms bring her victory?
Oh, we've got competition, I like it.
Jeremy Vine with the team from North Ayrshire who love their folk music. They're taking on the Eggheads next. And Mel Gedderoych hosts BBC Two's brand new quiz.